BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen with the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, NHL, entertainment, political props. We've got it all. Head to BetOnline today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. Plus, keep in mind, Week 17, Rams are favored by 5. Just an FYI against the Cards. You may want to get in on the action. Bet online. The game starts here. All right, a big Week 16 win for the Rams in New York against Aaron Rodgers and company. We are bringing you instant recap and instant analysis, a breakdown with my guy, Tyler Dragon of USA Today. Welcome to Bleav in Rams, part of the Bleav Network. Erin Coscarelli back with you. Be sure to subscribe, comment, rate, do all the things. Let us know what you want to know. The Rams are clicking at the right time. Ty, biggest takeaway? How are we feeling? I love the hat. It's Victory Monday yet again.
Man, I love that the Rams squashed the narrative that West Coast athletes do not perform well in cold weather or in the East Coast. You know, they went out there and yeah, it was closer than we would have liked probably in that first half, but the Rams pulled away in the second half. Kyron Williams, the game ball, in my opinion, over 100 rushing yards again, a dynamic performance, and kind of led the offense to victory. And that defense played well too. I mean, when you can hold the Jets, I know the Jets are struggling on both sides of the ball, but only one touchdown, and the special teams performed well. I thought it was a good victory on on all three phases: offense, defense, and special teams. And I mean, probably the best news is what happened throughout the course of the afternoon and the day. The Rams pretty much control their own destiny and are in the driver's seat to win the NFC West. So it was a really good Sunday for the LA Rams.
Yeah, you're right. The Seahawks losing to the Vikings. We'll get into all of that. The Cardinals losing in overtime to the Panthers means Christmas came a little early for the Rams, exactly what they needed to happen. And it was a little dicey there in the beginning. But I think to your point, Ty, what I learned from Week 16 is the Rams, it is never easy, a West Coast team traveling across country, a 10 a.m. kick in very chilly weather, to me seems and spells that this team can do well in the event they have to go to a cold temperature city and do what they need to do. I was concerned by that. I was concerned it was a trap game. Obviously, the history between Rodgers and Stafford, they've now played against each other, I want to say 18 times. That's fifth most among starting quarterbacks in the Super Bowl era. So these two guys have a lot of history, obviously, mostly because of the NFC North. But, you know, heading into the game, for you, what was your biggest concern facing a team like the Jets?
With the Jets, I was concerned about, this is a team playing for pride and really trying to ruin seasons. And those are always dangerous games at this point in the year, because you look at the Jets, they're playing for their jobs and really want to go out on a high note. They're at home in front of their home fans. And let's be honest, the Jets underachieved this year. They have a lot of talent on both sides of the football with Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, look, the dog. But overall, I was, concerned about, just a sleeping giant that underperformed in Jets, and the Rams, how they would perform in a cross-country trip, as we both said, going across country and playing in weather that's not, it's not snowing, thank goodness, because I will say, California, West Coast athletes do not perform well in the snow. I will say that. But cold weather, when it's not snowing, it's not raining, it's still, difficult. But they came out to play, and they proved the point. And I have to give them credit, because the Jets, they are still a tough out, even though they're not going anywhere, and they're thinking about Cancun and their vacations in a couple weeks. But still, NFL team got Hall of Famers on that Jets side, and
Yeah.
the Rams came out and they performed well, and they deserved to win that game.
Yeah, and they, they responded in ways that I also felt seemed to have maturity, right? This Rams heading in the
Mm-hmm.
season has the second youngest roster, a young defense. Stafford had been pretty turnover free. I want to say that pick he threw was the first pick in 5 games, the first
Mm-hmm.
interception he's had, which I don't know. I want to say it's a career best for him. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but largely taking care of the ball, no, issues with Kyron, Williams fumbling the ball, and Chris Shula making those sort of halftime adjustments on the defensive side of the ball, all really showed me that this team can handle their business. Granted, if we talk about Stafford, I think he only threw the ball 19 times. He
Mm-hmm.
had that one touchdown, that one interception. Not a big day for Puka or Cooper. How about Tyler Higbee, though?
Yeah,
Welcome
that
back,
touchdown.
sir.
Yeah, that was a feel good moment for sure.
Yeah,
And
scoring
I
it.
love how the team like rallied
Yeah.
to him and celebrated that with him. After that devastating knee injury for him to come back in his
Mm-hmm.
first game, getting in the end zone, that was a good moment. Not only just for the Rams, just for just football, just knowing what a player has been through, going, having a knee injury like that. For him scoring, that was a really good moment.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's just another added element to this team's dynamic possibilities
Hmm.
as we head down the stretch. These last 2 home games against division rivals. Now they get a star tight end back. It seems like,
Hmm.
I mean, of course, a monster day out of Kyron Williams. I want to say 122 yards. He had a touchdown. I
Hmm.
think his 13th of the season. And what was really interesting as I hand the ball off to you with this question, because my concern, what I want to ask you is, what are you now nervous now that you've learned what you've learned and what they were able to do in New York? What are your sort of bigger concerns as they try to close out the season with these 2 division games? For me, it's they keep starting slow and then they have to play sort of catch up. Obviously, the offense ran through Kyron Williams yesterday, but where for you do you think there's still some issues, some weaknesses, some holes to fill?
Yeah, I'm concerned when the Rams actually play a really good team, because these teams aren't very good that they're playing. Let's just be honest. Like if you're going to play like a Minnesota Vikings, a Green Bay Packers who've
Mhm.
already beat you in the playoffs, you're going to have to come up with your A game, and you have to start off fast, and you have to figure out unique ways to get Cooper Kupp involved. He's been quiet the last few games, and
Mhm.
it's been the Puka Nakua show. But what happens when teams have a scheme or a standout
Mhm.
corner that can kind of contain Puka Nakua? Now, that's easier said than done, but these playoff teams aren't going to let one player beat you on the outside and Kyron Williams just run wild, especially teams like the Packers, teams like the Vikings. Yes, the Vikings lost to the Rams in LA, but Justin Jefferson
Yeah.
didn't have the stellar game, and the Vikings can probably, they're going to be out for revenge if
Mhm.
that matches up. So,
Mhm.
and then defensively, I like what the Rams have done defensively. However, I would like to see them rush the passer a little bit better and kind of accumulate more sacks, more game changing plays, and more turnovers.
Mhm.
They had one sack, I believe, yesterday, and that was Cameron Curl that got that sack. It
Mhm.
wasn't
Mhm.
Jared Verse or Fisk or anybody. So I want to see the defensive line, the front seven, be more disruptive, and for them to make more game changing plays against these upper echelon teams. Now, the
Mhm.
good thing is got a Cardinals team that's going to play you tough. The Cardinals already beat them earlier in the season. They've already been eliminated from the playoffs. So this is a game where they want to try to ruin the Rams season because they just got their season ruined last week. So the Cardinals want to return the favor at home in LA at SoFi Stadium. Because if the Rams lose, then and if Seattle wins this week, then we're in a winner get
Yeah.
in game
Right. Yeah.
next the following week. So that's going to be critical. And we've seen the Rams struggle against mobile quarterbacks, and we've seen a lot of teams struggle against Kyler Murray and mobile quarterbacks. So this is going to be a legitimate test for the Rams. The good news is James Conner might not play because he's went down with a knee injury, so he could be questionable this coming week. But yeah, the Rams got to tighten up the screws on all three phases.
I did like that 4th and 1 stuff on what the Jets 33,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it was. I liked seeing that. Yeah, was it the Cam Curl sack that led to a fumble? Right. I think we're still trying to figure out what this defense and the identity of this defense is. It's a young defense, right? Obviously, heading into the season, they don't have an Aaron Donald. They've got a new defensive coordinator. And yes, I have my dog on my lap. I apologize. He's just really needy. He's about 5 pounds, and he
What's his
can.
name?
His name's Milo.
Milo. Hi,
He's
Milo.
he's a big Trojan fan, hence the outfit. I
I'm
know.
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I know.
But hi, Milo. He got to get some UCLA gear.
He wanted me to tell you that the Seahawks play the Bears on Thursday. So the good news is, or maybe not the good news, but we'll have the results of that matchup in the event the Seahawks end up losing to the Bears. They play this week 17 Thursday night football. But yeah, as you mentioned, they're going to have to contend with the Cardinals. And the Cardinals scored the second most points on the Rams this season, 42-10, I want to say it was. But with that being said, I mean, this is a very different Rams team than back in week 2. Wasn't Cooper and Puka, weren't they out week 2? They didn't come back till after the bye. So, we can't really base what last, week 2's matchup against the Cardinals is really going to be as we, are in week 17 now. But for you, the biggest concern sounds like containing a mobile quarterback because, Kyler did get and Harrison did sort of have their way with the Rams earlier in the season.
Yeah, and just looking past your opponent. You can't do that at this time of year, especially when your opponent isn't playing for anything, playing carefree, and, just playing for pride. Those are scary games, especially when you have your whole season in front of you and when the playoffs are on the line. The good news is this game, like we said, the game's at home. The Rams are playing overall. They're playing some of the best football in the NFC when you consider their winning streak, when you consider what they've done in recent weeks. That game in the Jets, I thought it was a good game. I would just like to have seen them close it out a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
6 points, I believe, in the first half.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to see.
Josh Carty missed another extra point.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was just sloppy.
It was. It's frustrating because I know he's a rookie, and it's not easy actually really being a kicker and having all that pressure on you, but he's got to be more consistent. I will say the offensive line, 0 sacks for the 3rd straight game. They've been keeping Stafford pretty clean, which hasn't always been the case this season. So that's certainly been a good thing. And hopefully the Rams, take care of business at home and get back to warmer climates. Let's see here. We have more questions for you, and I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, so Rams have the Cardinals and the Seahawks and can actually clinch this week, week 17. I don't know if you knew that. In
Hmm.
fact, the Cardinals lose, the Seahawks lose to the Bears, and obviously with a win over the Cardinals, the Rams can lock it up this week, but obviously they'll need some help. My question for you is, how has it been for you? And I think the most interesting part for me is covering a team that started the season 1-4 and is now 9-6, when I think a lot of people, hopes were lost with regards to what the Rams were going to look like this season. I think a lot of people didn't have very high expectations, knowing we were without Aaron Donald and some interesting pieces not necessarily making sense, having to get rid of like Ernest Jones. How has it been for you covering the Rams this season?
It's been a pleasant surprise, I have to say, because at the beginning of the season, I did not think either of the LA teams were going to make the
Mm-hmm.
playoffs. And the Rams specifically, when I looked at them, I thought, okay, they lost Aaron Donald. You know, they're getting a little bit older. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
this is their Super Bowl window has closed, and this is going to be a rebuild year. Going to have to rebuild that defense, get a new identity without your future Hall of Famer. Offense, Matthew Stafford's getting older, Cooper Cup's getting older, Puka Nakua is still, you know, growing into his stardom. And so I thought the Rams were going to finish maybe third in the NFC West. I
When
have to
did
be
you
honest.
when did you think that? At what point in the season?
All throughout this season, I mean, they started off 1-4. So my preseason pick, I had the Rams third. Then when they
Oh,
started 1-4, I was like, okay, this is going status quo. It started to change after the bye. I mean, I
mm,
saw them knock off the Vikings, and really now I believe the Rams could go as far as the NFC Championship game, especially after I saw them beat the Bills at home.
that's right.
The Bills, you can make a case, are the best team in football. Definitely one of the top 3, 4 teams in the NFL. And the Rams, yes, it was a shootout, but they came away with the victory when the Bills were probably the hottest team in the league. So that it definitely changed for me then, where I looked at the Rams like a legitimate team that can push for the NFC Championship game, especially with that offense. You got Kyron Williams. He's probably your second most important offensive player after Matthew Stafford. I mean, I know it's arguable Puka Nakua, but like this Rams team is scary, and I don't think anybody wants to play them in the playoffs because yeah, they have a lot of new faces, but they have a lot of faces on that team that remember winning that Super Bowl title and know what it takes to win a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's been so interesting and so fun to cover this Rams team, trying to keep hope alive, and yeah, really kind of understanding why Rams Nation was feeling hesitant or
Mm-hmm.
cynical regarding the season. So much was not sort of going in their direction, right? Maybe even thinking we were going
Mm-hmm.
to see a sophomore slump from some of the guys that performed so well last year. And I think it's just a testament to how good and effective a coach like Sean McVay really is. The guys,
Mm-hmm.
who he brings up with him. When asked, what do you credit the 1-4 turnaround to? He said he credits the players. He didn't even take the accolades of what I think he really does deserve. And that's why I think guys love playing for Sean McVay. He's just in the
Mm-hmm.
trenches with you. He's so smart. He has such a high football IQ. He understands situations and he figures it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there have been a lot of games this season I would have loved to have seen the Rams figure out how to close out. The Saints could have been a better result. They won. The Patriots would have loved to see. They had that terrible game, that primetime game against the Dolphins. I think we've all been kind of like, we know what the Rams can do, a la the Bills, and yet sometimes they are their own worst enemy. And I think these last two games are really going to be a test to see how they can kind of band together with both of these teams, division rivals on deck. The Cardinals, doesn't matter, but the Cardinals want to be spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think these are, just like we've been saying all season, must win games. And it's just been interesting to cover the NFC West. The Niners just haven't,
Right.
haven't had things go their way. And no one really took a firm grasp of the division. So it's really interesting. It's been a lot of fun to see a team sort of face as much adversity as the Rams have faced, and now like their destiny is in their hands. It's been quite a story. If you're not following the Rams, you should be following the Rams. I mean, it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah. You said it. It's been remarkable for them to start 1-4
Mm-hmm.
and for them to be in a division with the 49ers team that's won the division, been to three straight NFC championship games, surging Seahawks team, up and coming Cardinals team, and for the Rams to be sitting up ahead of all those teams, despite what we perceived and thought about before the start of the regular season, and after that 1-4 start, is testament to Sean McVay's coaching prowess. He's one of the best coaches in the National Football League, and a testament to, like Sean McVay said, the players in the football team for
Mm-hmm.
executing the game plan and going out there each and every Thursday, Sunday, Monday, and
They've had a lot of
performing. So,
primetime games
yeah,
this season as well. So, with all of that happening, with the Cardinals dropping to the Panthers and the Seahawks losing the Vikings, the Rams move up to the 3 spot. They're now the
yeah.
3 seed in the NFC. I mean, hey, who knows? We still have 2 more games on deck. But certainly it's been fun to watch the Rams sort of pull these rabbits out of their hat. A monster game from Kyron Williams. The defense showing life in the second half. Hopefully Josh Carty can remain a little bit more consistent.
Right.
And it's the Rams' chances to lose. I think that it went from like 73%, according to NFL.com. I want to say it's like now an 83% chance to clinch.
Mhm.
So fingers crossed, Tyler. Is it on your Christmas list for the Rams to dominate the rest of the regular season?
If I had to bet, I would bet the Rams win their next two games,
Wow.
close out the regular season,
Okay.
beat the Cardinals, and beat the Seahawks at home. What about you? What do you think?
It's interesting. I don't know this off the top of my head, but I wonder if they drop one game, what game would be a worse game to drop? Because remember, the Rams already lost to the Cardinals. Granted, we know they're eliminated, but the Rams already beat the Seahawks. I forget what week it was.
Mhm.
I'm sure the more important game for them to win would probably be the season's finale and sweep the Seahawks. But yeah, that would be on my Christmas list. It would be nice for the Rams to close out and hold their head high, being that they really had to dig deep with all those injuries, guys. Remember, it was Puka, it was Cooper, it was the offensive line. There were so many things sort of falling apart at the same time. It's nice to see that there's another side to this story, and hopefully the positive narrative and momentum continues as we close out Week 18.
Well, the good news for the Rams is if they end up with the same record as the Seahawks, the Rams own the tiebreaker
Right.
because of the strength of schedule little fix. So
That's right.
the Rams are in a great position.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I always love talking to you, especially on Victory Monday. That hat's amazing. Merry Christmas to you, Tyler. I hope you get all of your favorite things in your stocking this Christmas holiday. Will you be with the fam?
Yes. What about you?
Yep, I'm going to stay local. I will be here for Christmas. I will be here for New Year's. And I will keep you guys posted as always as Bleav in Rams will continue next week. Thank you guys. For Tyler Dragon, I'm Erin Coscarelli. We will talk to you next week.